Welcome to the channel, guys. So today I'm going to basically explain what I've done to protect my brand new GR Yaris. So I have a few products here in front of me. In a moment I'll come over to the camera and actually do a proper walk around. But the first stage is to obviously completely clean the car. And to do that, I started off, first of all, pressure wash the car down, get it all nice and wet, etc. And snowfoam, I personally, one of my favourite snowfoams, I will quickly go and grab it. One of my favourite snowfoams is Auto Bright Magifoam. I just like it in the plain, like, doesn't really come out as any colour when you dilute it. I don't like colour snowfoams. Personally, I believe they can like dye the paints and stuff, so I just work with that. So yeah, I go for quite a heavy mixture. I want it to be really thick, so I generally fill it up with snowfoam, probably just past a quarter, 1/3. That gives you a really thick solution, and spray the car, get it looking like a snowman. And then obviously not on a day like today, you don't want to be in direct sunlight. Normally overcast, shade is great, cool day, and then just leave it to dwell for about 20 minutes. Then pressure wash that off again. Make sure the car is absolutely spotless. You may, depending on the condition of the car, you may want to then do a clay bar and clay the car, which is like literally as it sounds, it's a bar of clay. You go across the paint and it takes any contaminants off the paint, etc. This car's been in a boat, I believe in a container. There isn't anything really bad on the paintwork, so didn't need to do that on this car. I do have a clay bar. Did a few test areas. The clay bar was picking nothing up, so that was a good sign. Make sure the car is absolutely spotless. If you do clay it, wash it again. After you've clayed it, make sure you keep it well wet. There's plenty of tutorials online about how to clay bar a car. And so the next stage was then to get the car perfectly dry, etc., and inspect the paint. And because the lads at Toyota had done a great job at their PDI and the cleaning of this car, they're car enthusiasts at RRG Macclesfield, so they actually got a brand new wash mitt, nice wash mitt, not used in any other car, not been dropped in any floors or anything, brand new for this car. Car was washed, again, with 2 buckets, the correct method, everything. So upon getting the car home, I did some inspections of paint. There wasn't really any swirl marks on the paintwork. However, for good measure, I decided to do, there are several cutting compounds you can use. For cutting compounds, again, I like to use Auto Bright products. So you have the heavy cut, which this car didn't need. That's if the car's heavily marred, swirled, light scratches. Heavy cut is ideal. You should also have a pad to match that as well. As you see, the heavy cut is orange, and Auto Bright sell orange heavy cut pads to go with that compound. You then have a medium cut screen, and this is a medium cut pad, and it does as it says, it's slightly less cutting, a bit more gloss. Again, didn't need to use this on this car. Then you've got the final finish, which is very low cut, high gloss. Because this car really had no marks, I gave it a one sweat over the entire car with a matching purple pad. So the car got with a DA polisher, so that's here behind here, DA 12 polisher, and the whole car was polished on a final cut with the DA 12 across the whole car. The results were great, not a single swirl mark on the paint. So again, then I went across the car with a panel wipe. I use Gtechniq panel wipe, but any panel wipe will do. It's a very simple solution. I went across the whole car, just rubbing it down with the alcohol. And the reason you're doing that, you're making sure you remove any oils from the likes of the polishing, because you don't want any oils, any contaminants or any chemicals on the paint whatsoever before you're going to apply a ceramic coating. So the whole car got wiped down with alcohol. Car was then parked in the garage, and we applied a coating of Gtechniq Crystal Serum Line. This is their 5-year ceramic coating. I've used this on several other cars that I've owned, and the longest I've personally had it on a car before I've sold a car was 2 years, and it's still sheeting and protecting the car like it was on day one. So it's not cheap. I think you're looking at about 30ml bottle about £55. A 50ml bottle is about £80. It's not cheap, but it's worth every penny. It's a 5-year coating, and it really does, I suspect, last 5 years. I say I've not seen any reduction in its protective abilities after 2 years. Really swear by it. So you do this like in a 2x2 motion panel. I like to use 3 microfiber cloths. So first cloth, spread it around, then I then turn that cloth, buff it a little bit. I then get a second cloth and buff it again in a larger area just to make sure there's no high spots, etc, etc. And then I get a third cloth just to make sure I've literally not missed anything, make sure all the product is buffed off, etc, etc. Once you've done the whole car, I like to set a timer for 3 hours. And once 3 hours has passed, I then apply a coating of Gtechniq XOV5. What this does is kind of a topper to the CSL, and it improves the hydrophobic water sheeting abilities. I've never actually done a car not using this, so I couldn't really comment on with and without differences, but the one thing you do notice when you apply the CSL and an hour's passed, you can feel how much more slick the surface is. When you apply this, you literally can feel by doing this, it's got even slicker. So it's definitely doing something. And again, it's about the same money. So you're talking about at least £100 in ceramic product, but you've got a 5-year coating, and the results really speak for themselves. So yeah, and of course, wash a car, 2 buckets, either one's for body, one for wheels, or how I like to do it. One's for body and washing, and one's for rinsing. And I always start from the top and work my way down. If the car is particularly dirty, then I may pull a third bucket out to do the wheels and to do the lower bits, because what you don't want to be doing is dragging any contaminants or etc onto your wash mitt and putting any scratch or swirls in the paintwork. So that's the way I do it, and generally my cars stay clean. So I'm now going to come back to the camera and I'm going to give you a walk around of the results. Anybody who's new to washing cars or interested, feel free to fire any questions in the comments. I'll do my best to answer those questions. Been a bit of a car washing maniac for like the last 20 years now, so I'm quite confident taking a machine polisher to a car, obviously cleaning them, it's pretty much the way it is. So let's do a walk around of the car. Right, so let's do a walk around of the car. The sun is trying to come out today, so we might get a little bit of shots of the car in the sun. But it's hard to actually describe in person without actually being here in person. I mean, just how much the paint has come up and how nice it is. There's also, obviously, having gone over the car with a machine polisher, there's not a single mark on the car anywhere, not a single dent, there's nothing. It's absolutely perfect. So glad it got no damage on the belt on its way over, because that's always a worry with a new car. So you can see there, that's the side in the sun. I'm going to try very hard to do close-ups of paint, but if you can, my shadow's kind of in the way as well, which doesn't help matters. The sun's going in now, but you can kind of see the metallic fleck in the paint there. So when the sun really comes out, the paint really pops. I think out of all the paints on the GR Yaris, the precious metal is definitely the best paint to go for. I mean, obviously I'm biased because it's the colour I paid a whopping £920 extra to have this paint, but yeah, it's worth it. I'd say it's quite similar to the BMW CSL silver grey paint. I'd say it's probably a little bit darker than that, but only slightly. And I always did love that colour on my M3 CSL when I owned that car back in the day. The reason being is that I could get away without washing the car for weeks. And I say I've literally just spent a solid 2 days in doing this car. So machine polishing, applying ceramic coatings. As I do apologise if there's excess glare from the sun. But I mean, if we go in close to the bonnet, here the bonnet is completely spotless. And you can kind of see where the sun is hitting it there. It's very hard but you can see it's not very cloudy today, it's more overcast, but you can see even on a light coloured car like this how it's reflecting the clouds. The only thing I've not done anything with, I haven't put any coating on the roof. I've actually ordered some Gtechniq Halo, which is their specific product for PPF and wraps. And as the roof on this car is wrapped, I'm going to do that. So now the sun's come out properly, let's see if we can focus on that. You can really see the metallic in the paint coming out there. So yeah, I highly recommend these products. So starting off with, you give it a pressure wash down, then snow foam it. As I said originally, I like the Magifoam from Autobrite. Then pressure wash all that off, then wash the car using the 2 bucket method. Any pH neutral car wash is fine, or anything because there's no product on the car yet. Then I machine polished the car. This car just needed a fine cut. You can see the reflection there down the side of the car, perfect. This car just needed a fine cut, so that's what it got. And then use a panel wipe to get any oils out of the paint, etc. from the polishing. And then I used Gtechniq Crystal Serum Light. Applied that, waited 3 hours, then applied a coating of Gtechniq XO. You can apply the XO, I think you can apply it immediately if you wish, or you can wait longer, but the Gtechniq instructions say to get that coating on within 24 hours of applying CSL. In regarding to polishing, I say this car only needed a fine cut. So you have the Autobrite products here, their Correct It range. You've got you've got orange, which is heavy, green, which is medium, and purple, which is final. They have pads to match, so you've got a purple, which is the pad I used, and a medium there. This car didn't need a medium cut, as I say. Paint's absolutely swirl free pretty much on the day of picking it up. Now it's totally swirl free. If I get in here, I've got a high powered LED here. Might struggle in this light, but you can see there from me doing that, there's not a swirl mark or any kind of mark inside or on the paint. The reflections of the paint are absolutely perfect. And now it's got that 5-year coating on there, and because I washed the car in the correct 2 or even 3 bucket method and use snow foam before I even take a mitt to the car, in theory this car will now stay relatively swirl free for years to come, as long as you wash it professionally and protect it. See the McLaren's there, it's about to get a good washing. I'm also going to be applying a ceramic coating to that as well. It's had new PPF recently, so that's also another reason for ordering Gtechniq Halo, because I'm going to coat the PPF sections in Halo and then coat the non-PPF sections in the CSL coating. But yeah, it's like we just, you can see, I mean, any car reflects, even a dirty car, but the car now has such a depth to shine, it's unreal. And the Gtechniq products, just follow the instructions that come with it, follow their YouTube videos. They are incredibly easy to apply and extremely forgiving. Always do it indoors, and always then make sure you keep the car indoors for at least 24 hours. I personally, in my garage, it goes inside. The car is kept inside for a minimum of 48 hours with a dehumidifier running with temperature set to 20 degrees, just to keep everything in a perfect state for curing. And if possible, I will actually leave the car inside for 7 days, but you don't need to do that, but it's just something I like to do. The instructions do state you can bring the car outside 24 hours later, but under no circumstances wash the car. Do not wash a car until at least 7 days. Again, I wait until at least 14 days. But I think this new GR Yaris looks amazing in this precious metal finish. It really is something else. Done a bit more driving in the car. I'm still running it in, but pretty much my thoughts from the first video and the second video I made. This is going to be the third video now, maybe the fourth. The car is just that little bit better in every area. It's just the little tweaks really make for a much nicer car, and that I am sure once I get to fully open it up and take it down a Great British B road, I'm going to be amazed by it. Somebody actually did comment recently that actually with inflation, the old car would actually be £1,000 more than this one's currently being sold for. But we'll just, yeah, you can see. Unfortunately, it's strobing on camera, I think, but you see that there is no swirl marks in that paint. It is absolutely perfect. Hey, any questions about how to wash and protect cars, feel free. If it was an older car with a lot of swirl marks in the paint, we might actually be able to go up to the BMW. I haven't done this yet, because this car needs paint before I start coating it with ceramics, and so it needs all the body shop stuff doing first. It's red, so it's not necessarily the easiest car to show, but my torch is, yeah, there's some light marring on this car. I'm not sure. Yeah, there you go. You can kind of see that on the camera. So with this car, that's not that bad. The medium cut would probably remove all of that and then do the final cut. Heavy cut is really only for extreme circumstances. But yeah, the BMW needs a bit of work. See, there's a little bit there. We have a bit on the bulkhead, so this car's going to go for some welding. Either this winter or next winter, so it's nothing major at the moment. And then it can be applied, but for something to knock around, then it looks great. And I'm sure that you all like to see the McLaren, so that's about to get air washing. It's not that dirty, but it's had fresh PPF recently, and there's some dirt on it, so I want to give it a quick clean down, get it in the garage, ready for a coating of ceramic. And so you only apply it to spotlessly clean cars, and make sure that you can see beading lovely. It's been outside whilst the GR's been getting the treatment of getting coated. McLaren's had to slum it outside. Yeah, we'll just go back to the Yaris. Right, we'll show you in the shade the panels with the light on. So there you go. You can see there's not a swirl mark. There's not any mark of any kind on the paint. The paint is absolute perfection. And that's why it's worth the effort to put the time in to get the paint perfect, and then to try to lock that in with a quality ceramic coating. Of course, the other option with a brand new car is to PPF them. But to PPF this entire car with a quality PPF, I personally would only ever use XPAL, because I find it always gives a great finish. A lot of PPFs I've come across, I find they can be very orange peely, and when modern cars have got enough orange peel in the paint already, you don't really want to be adding to that with orange peely PPF. So I swear by XPAL, but to do XPAL on this car, you're looking at, depending on where you go, you're not going to get it any cheaper than £4,000, and you could be paying as much as £6,000, which is a lot to wrap the car in essentially a condom. That's how I like to phrase it. And the car's a 50 grand car maximum. So I don't think it's a good idea paying 10% of its value in plastic film. Yeah, I get it on the McLaren, you know, that car brand new was nearly 300,000. It makes sense to spend 5 or 6 grand protecting that car. But to me, when you're paying 10% of the value to wrap your car in a condom, I don't think it makes good value for money. I may consider just getting a wrap for the bonnet. I say that's going to be the area that will get stone damage if it's going to get it, and that's going to be about £300 to £400 for that area there. But yeah, really happy with the results with the Gtechniq CSL and the machine polishing. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. I'm noticing I'm getting quite a lot more views now, which, you know, makes me more incentivized to do this. I do actually enjoy doing this though as well. You know, I've always really loved cars and everything about cars, so I really enjoy making these videos and that. So yeah, I could bumble on, but as always, let's try not to make this too long. Keep it under 20 minutes. Thank you for watching, and everybody take care and have a great weekend.